Hello everyone and welcome to LSI F1 EU Championship, F1.5 EU Championship. We're today for the first round of the season. I cannot wait. The Spanish Grand Prix, it is all dry, pure pace, pure racing. We're in qualifying, we're a little bit underway. For now, we're going to go across the line with Jeremy. What can he do in the Alpine today? What's it going to be? It's going to be provisional pole. How about that? By 2/10 in front of Devon Young and Becken in P3. Lots of people very, very hyped for this championship, wanting to go for that top spot. And currently, Jeremy, only doing a couple races late on in last season, coming in as a reserve, has gone and taken away the star like a little bit, if that's a phrase that you can even use. Anyway, done a pretty good job with that one. Looking for permanent seat, he might be able to get one, and I think he will be able to get one before next race. So he just needs to try and get as best as he can. Result for now, he'll be good to go, I am sure. But the rest of the grid, as it is running, we have got a few people returning back to the grid, including Dilly Ding and Matt Mux, who used to be Matty back in the day a few seasons ago. Those two guys are considered OGs, I would imagine so. And Cookie Monster used to be Flying Walker, so welcome back to them, of course. Jeremy into the pit lane. We've got Devon Young on an outlap again, and he's about to start another lap to try and compete for that fastest lap, that pole time. Is it going to be possible for the man? Cookie Monster leaves the session. We're going to have to try and get him back in, and then we will catch back up with Devon Young in a few seconds. So I do apologise for the delay, but hopefully this is the last time that we have to sort through this, because otherwise it's going to be a little bit difficult for us to get through the race without any more interruptions. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, that is that sorted. We are now good to go, and we have Devon Young, of course, still on his lap. He hasn't changed, he's continuing. We will watch on board to the sector line, starting sector 3, to see what he's doing. Is he going to be looking for that pole time? If he is, we'll stay on board. Slight bit of understeer through turn 9, which isn't ideal. Into the hairpin he'll go, and across the sector line, very, very close to the delta. He's going to need to find a lot of time in this final sector if he wants to compete, but he goes wide, does cut back through, so it's not a slow way to take that corner. He's just got 2 more to go. No mistakes here, should be pretty straightforward. He's not happy with it. He's going to go into the pit lane and come back out for one more run a little bit later on. Terence in P9. He's just started his lap recently, of course, winning the Belgian Grand Prix last season, getting his first win, being the first driver from the Asia continent to win a Grand Prix. He's actually backed off of this one because he is on a couple of lap old tyres, so I do apologise for that one. Got a brand new driver, Sen, joining the grid. I should say Senna, really, because that is how to pronounce it. I keep getting it wrong. I do apologise. Currently P10, 11.8. Got a little bit of traffic in front, but they do move out the way, and he continues in the Ferrari alongside JJ, who stays with the team.
Yeah, I just noticed that, of course, Jeremy has went pole, and you would have thought, perhaps from the end of last season, that Devon Young or maybe Robbo would have been on that top step, but Jeremy immediately out of the blocks with an 11.32 and a bit 10 faster than anyone else at the moment. And around a track like Spain, where the track length is so short, you'd expect people to be closer, but Jeremy seems to have pulled it out the bag so far. And do you reckon he can sustain this advantage already, or do you think he'll get toppled in towards the end of the session?
In the past, he has struggled later on in the session, but from not setting a single lap to then putting that lap in, and the fact that Devon Young was on an okay lap but still backed off, you can see that he's put the pressure on nicely, and he's looking pretty racy. That's JJ P14 with his first lap of the session. We are going to go back on board with Jeremy as he starts a lap. Zingy, would you be able to take us through or not really?
Yeah, I can try my best. You just need to watch out for the marbles though towards the end of the session, especially into this first sector, missing the first apex a little bit. You want to ride the curb on the inside there, but Jeremy elects not to. Turn 3 is flat. You want to minimise track distance by going over to the right hand side. There are 2 Ferraris in the way, and coming up to turn 4, this is the worst of the marbles. You go a tiny bit off wide there, and you go right into the gravel, just like Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz did in real life. Turn 5, you want to just use the downhill slope to bring the car around, right? And now coming through into turn 7 and 8, you want to really fling the car in. Don't touch the sausage curb, otherwise you may go off into the gravel. Turn 9, flat as you like, no lifting off needed whatsoever. And coming into the newly profiled sector 3, as you see there's a Ferrari in front of him. I hope he does not get in the way. For this corner, it's very difficult to get the power down, but for some people they find it much easier than others, depending on the setup he uses. Jeremy does very well there. The Ferrari will not impede the Alpine, and he'll actually get a bit of a slipstream up to the line. Flat last corner, just out of VRS, and it's an 11.0. That's a fantastic lap.
Almost into the 10s. That's perfect. Very, 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 very good. 5/10 buffer, I should say, to the next car. Looking at P3 and P4, that is incredible. Between the two Swedish drivers, good friends, but opting not to go into the same team in this brand new season, which I'm very surprised at, but they just don't want to tangle up in each other's way, I'd assume. But it is what it is. Yeah, good job from Jeremy. He's looking very strong, and we've got all the cars that are closest behind him still in the pit lane. 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Zingy, what time would you be leaving the pit lane?
Well, actually, for Spain, I'd like to leave it a bit earlier because, as I said on Jeremy's lap, you can see the marbles on his tyres. Even if you go on board for him now in his in lap, you might be able to see those little black dots appear. And those marbles make the tyres less grippier, and you'll drift off wide and wider and wider to a point where you just go off because it's basically a trap. Once you touch it a little bit, you just keep on going. And Jeremy actually avoided that for the most part. And although the track is grippier, you got to compensate for the marbles. You can see going into the pits, it collects a bit there, and it makes him understeer somewhat. So these are things you need to think of around the track like Spain. It's not just where can I push, where can't I push. You got to think of all the external factors going on around you too. So it's a bit difficult for these drivers to really nail a lap, especially in the last few minutes. But we've seen it before. Last minute, someone can snatch pole, and I'm sure it could happen again.
I'm sure it can, and everybody pretty much into the pit lane. I don't think Jeremy's going to get another lap in. Might just about get there. I do apologise, I'm having a bit of technical difficulties with scrolling through all the cars. We've got Bad Monkey and Subby coming out both in the Mercedes for today and for the rest of the season, it's looking like as well. Great to see these guys on the grid this season. Great to see a lot of people on the grid this season in permanent seats. You've also got Skies, who's got a permanent seat for this season. Not racing today though, but cannot wait. Monk, they set their lap just a moment ago. We're not on board with them, but they have set a couple of laps actually, 11.7. They're starting again, I think, for their final run. Having a strong start to the season last time around, having a very tough middle and end to the season, dropping out for the last few races, but then coming back on a fresh start to see what they can possibly do. Is that the Alfa Romeo of Jack Cady, who will be going again? He's also had really strong pace, but not too great luck this season. Was that Jack Lever? I don't know. They're both in Alfa Romeos last season quite frequently, but he's in an Alfa Romeo now, Jack Cady. Great to see him back on the grid. Lots of people out. Who's your money on for pole, Zingy?
Well, the odds are in Jeremy's favour. He's 5/10 faster than anyone else, and with the marbles increasing and the track grip going up, maybe not as much as what people were liking, as Monk has made a bit of a mistake coming into the penultimate corner. You may think this is all over already. Some people might move up and down a little bit, but I can't see anyone making a significant improvement unless someone throws out a scorcher of a lap in the last moments. But as I say, the marbles are just going to kill people when it comes to the lap time, and I don't see anything changing here.
On the right, our front tyre, you could see that Jack Cady going through turn 3 had an absolutely massive blanket of marbles on his tyre. He managed to take it quite well. Another corner that's a bit of a worry is turn 10. You go on entry, there's a bit of an AstroTurf patch that you really have to be careful to avoid. You want to extend it, but if you get a bit too far onto it, you will get into the grass. We saw that from Dave Raptors last season, losing the car, just managing to keep it together. Did win that race in the end. Jack Cady going to finish their lap now. This will be their final run. They will be the first driver to finish qualifying across the line. DRS available at the last second. That's going to be P4. Not too bad at all. So close to Becken, but Peanuts is right behind him as well.
Oh, Peanuts has actually made a mistake. Coming out of turn 4, he's dropped the car, he's spun it, and he just needs to make sure not only to not get disqualified, but to just get out of everyone's way as qualifying's over. So for the Aston Martin driver, that's P5 at most. He needs to watch out for the Red Bull. And the Red Bull, who's that? Is that Ogio that's going for a spin as well? He's spun in sympathy of the Aston Martin, and that's his session over, and he's not going to be any further than 11th.
That's such a shame. We've got his teammate carrying on. Devon Young going to try and look for pole position. Jeremy will not be on track to defend it, so he's sitting, watching in anticipation, trying to go for the pole position to open up the season. Terence to P2 and 11.5. It's still so close margins across the sector line for Devon Young. What's it going to be? Will he make it look promising? He's not. He might even lose P2 here if he can't improve further. Becken is also going to be trying to go for it, but I think there might be issues for one of the McLarens, if not both of the McLarens. The Red Bull ran the final few corners for the final time. What's it going to be for Devon Young across the line? Will it be pole? It's not, and it's not going to be enough for P2. Becken didn't have a good run. Jack Cadey's in the pits. Robbo, he's also had issues. Many people will not get their final opportunity in qualifying. As you said, Zingy, the marbles are absolutely crazy. That's qualifying over. Jeremy will get pole position in the pit lane, and Terence has done a mega job and got that P2.
I told you it took a special driver and a special lap indeed to get that P2 that Terence got there. He went from what was it, P11 at the time, and he managed to pull it out of nowhere. He was struggling the whole session and managed to hook it up to get it on that last lap, avoiding the marbles, being able to find that limit. And honestly, I can't see Terence improving past an 11.3 at most due to the marbles. So he's done a fantastic job to get in that front row. But Jeremy, 5/10 ahead. You cannot, well, you can't just ignore that, can you?
No, you can't, and I think if you can have a 5/10 advantage in qualifying, sure, maybe others may have made mistakes, but it really allows you to be confident in the race. A circuit that isn't easy to overtake is Spain, and also turn 1, if you can get a good launch, it's not really a heavy braking zone, so you're not going to be challenged into that first corner. Jeremy with an absolutely incredible pole position, Terence in P2, Devon Young in P3. This is the rest of the grid, and then we'll go to the race director just to double check through everything if we can. Of course, instance section and the pit stops. Just having a look at that, you can see how close the rest of the field actually is. If you take away Jeremy, there's so many close times, so this is going to be an absolutely epic race. We'll see you in a bit. Ready? Hold! Go! Who's going to get it into turn 1? We are finally away. Jeremy on pole position. The Aston Martin of Terence. Will he get a good launch? Not too good compared to the McLaren, who will go to the inside. Devon Young is going to challenge for P1 immediately. Send it on the brakes. The Alpine is going to have to yield a little bit up the hill. They go. They make contact. They're going to lose momentum. Terence is going to try and come back through, but he's boxed in a little bit. Jeremy, out of all that, does manage to maintain the lead. That is the Red Bull looking so racy, very close. We've got the McLaren on the inside, more contact with Peanuts, and I believe that's Jack Cadey. Robbo slightly behind, and we've got, is that the Haas of Tom Brainer trying to have a look as well. Lots of people trying to have a look, but no one so far is out. Up the hill, side by side, Peanuts not giving an inch, trying his best, and we've got Terence who's also lost out a little bit. He's still on the inside of turn 9. Is that contact? It is contact, and that is going to be the Alfa Romeo. Not happy with what's going on. Side by side still, the Mercedes is involved, and he's managed to get a pretty nice move right there.
Devon Young's been spun out. I think him and Jeremy made a bit of contact, and that's Devon round on lap 1. It's a catastrophe, and that looks as though it's Tom Brain also making a mistake. He's round 2. So Tom Brain and Devon Young to the back of the pack already, and lap one's not even finished yet. Jeremy in the lead. As you see, Terrence is getting overtaken by Robbo, and it's free wide to Aston Martins. Peanuts is looking for a move around the outside of Robbo into turn one. Will he make the move stick? He's got the grippier soft tires. He's going to run it around the outside. He's going to give Robbo a bit of a nudge coming into turn three. Robbo's going to have that inside line, but it looks as though Peanuts with the extra grip could make it stick coming into turn four. They're still side by side. Peanuts launches it down around the outside on the brakes, and it looks as though he'll manage to get it if he can just pull the car up for turn five. A bit more contact is made. It is lap two after all. It's a bit frantic in these first few laps, and it looks as though Peanuts has finally made that move up into the podium places.
Well, that was a little bit of contact there from Robbo's. Peanuts returned the favour, but somewhat fairly, and then he got it done. That's Subby who's coming in. He's looking pretty hot, but he's not going to go for the move. Really showing his potential compared to last season where he had a few issues, so it's great to see him up the order where he should be. That's going to be Matt Works going for the move. That is actually Cookie Monster, who is yet again disconnected from the session, unfortunately. It doesn't seem like they're having the best of days with their connection. That is Jeremy leading the way. Subby P5, is he going to go for that move already?
Yeah, he goes down the inside of Robbo. He gets a slipstream off of Peanuts. I think hit Peanuts unintentionally helping Subby there. He's just trying to cool down the soft tyres as when they get very, very, very hot behind the turbulent air of our car. And it looks as though Subby's up into P4 for Robbo. Those medium tyres worked initially, but it seems as though he's struggling, perhaps with overheating. But you wouldn't imagine that, considering the opposite way around with the tyres. He looks for a move once again, but Robbo can't seem to find a way through, and now he's going to be under threat from Terrence.
Yep, lots of people mixing up. I believe Peanuts and Terrence might be working, all commentated, working together. No, Terrence is off as he absolutely sent it. He does have damage, unfortunately, so he's going to have to make a pit stop. There's a big gap to the cars behind. That's JJ, who will be getting the momentum to go for a move on the inside, but no, he didn't actually get close enough. Too much understeer there is going to allow the rest of the cars through, but in the background there's going to be everyone off. That's going to be Bad Monkey and the AlphaTauri of Matty involved. Well, Matt Merckx, I don't know what happened there, but so many people now have issues. We're going to try and give it a look if we can. There's going to be many people into the pit lane, and Jack Cady's going to be happy with that one because he'll manage to make some moves. That's Senna also involved in that crash.
Yeah, it looks so quite a few people got damage. I think there's a Constantina effect with about 3 or 4 cars there. Of course, Terrence having that initial off, losing a bit of his front wing, and that just caused everyone to panic and sorts, and that's just brought everyone a bit further away from each other. It looks as though Dilly's just getting past Cookie Monster's idle car as he's struggling to get past and makes a bit of a mistake because of it. And will that allow Matt Merckx, his teammate, to get past? Doesn't look like it at the moment.
Going to stay as he is, but they will both clear the Williams driver, which is such a shame. Sen leaves the pit lane, so he's the last one out, and that is everybody good to go. We're going on board with Robbo, who's at the back of this train at the moment. This is the lead train. Jeremy is just broken away from DRS range, so that's actually a pretty good job because it's exactly what he needed to do. DRS, of course, enabled last lap, but this lap is where it really comes into effect, and he's done everything he needs to. More issues, unfortunately, that is going to be dilly-ding down the order.
Making contact with, I believe it was Jack Cady. I'm not too sure. He's also having some issues with himself. I'm not sure what to happen with Jack Cady, but he seems to be pulling off into the bits to retire, I think. I'm not sure what's going on, maybe some technical issues, because it doesn't look like he was controlling that car there, and yeah, that is the first retirement of the race. It won't be a safety car due to him pulling off into the pit lane, but that's a shame to see technical issues striking once again for the Alfa Romeo team.
5 only, so not the way he wants to start the season, but who does want to start the season the way they're doing is Subby, P3 now, making that move over Becken. So the McLaren duo struggling to make progress in this race, and Peanuts has just done enough to get back into DRS range. You can see it opens up the rear wing and will continue to bring the train with him, so that's a brilliant job from him. Oggio not quite close enough, and he will have a bit of trouble from Monk if he's not careful. Trying his best to get to that train, because if he can, then they're going to be carried, and they just need to wait until the pit stops to be in a good position to start fighting for points, good points. Devon Young going to be behind JJ looking to go for moves, but the two McLarens might switch here.
Yeah, Beckett opting not to open the DRS, and that's going to allow Robbo, his teammate, to get through. You can see a little wave on the rear wing signifying that Robbo's thankful for his teammate letting him go. He's on that faster medium tyre for the moment, and now he's going to hunt down Subby and Peanuts, who are on those soft tyres, but you'll notice over the next few laps they might start to drop off in pace, depending on how well they treat the tyres in the first few laps, overheating or just degradation of the tyre. It's up to them at the start how they performed, and now you're going to see the benefit of the medium tyre really come into fruition over the next few laps.
Tyre temps can be a crucial thing as well. Not so much in this game, it's a little bit easier to manage, although there's a lot more range to make mistakes in your setup. But around this circuit, dirty air is a big thing, and if you're in clean air compared to if you're behind a car, the grip changes significantly, and you've got to be really careful with how you manage that. For now, they'll be good to go. Didn't actually realise that Peanuts and Subby were on the soft tyres. It does explain a few things, but the thing is, that is going to be a safety car. Turn 8, that was a crash from Dilly Dane.
Yeah, Dilly, I think, just dropped it on the curb, sausage curb on the exit, and it looks as though he just hit into the wall, and that's him out of the race. He returned after a long while, and that's not the way you want to start your debut race after being away for so long. That's him out, and I'm sure you want to have a redemption arc sometime soon, but especially in the first race, you don't want to be doing stuff like that.
For sure you do not. One crucial thing that we saw yesterday with Yuzingi, and we see with the race leaders now, is that they're not able to pit. Peanuts and Subby are going to be furious. Also, Tom Brainer not opting to go into the pit lane. Beckon stayed out anyway, that's not the worst situation for him, but Zingy, if you're on the mediums, if you're on the hards, if you're on the softs, will you pit?
Well, if I'm on the hards, of course I'm going to stay out. Mediums, I'll pit probably for softs, and then for softs, I'll pit onto the mediums and probably do a double medium or a medium soft until the end. Because although you're doing an extra stop, and yes, one of them's on the safety car, you can just see the tyre difference on full display. You've seen Subby and Peanuts. Where did Subby come from? Was it P13 or something like that insane? And now he's up into P3 on the soft tyres, and it's only been 7 laps. I'll just check quickly to see. Yeah, P13 up to P3 in 6 laps on the soft tyre. Doesn't that say a lot about how good the softs are? And obviously how good the Subby is as a driver, but the tyre's obviously helping him propel him up into a podium position.
Yeah, definitely. When there's a circuit that is hard to overtake, that extra grip gives you everything, and you can make it work. That is going to be Peanuts into the pit lane. Subby doesn't follow. That's a little bit strange in my books.
Well, maybe he was trying something optimistic. Of course he missed the pit lane the first time around, and now he's going to come in this time. He's not going to make the same mistake that I did. He's going to pit onto a new set of medium tyres, and he's going to do one more stop after this, which will probably be another set of mediums, or perhaps soft, depending on how well he looks after the tyres. And he should be going to the end. And you can push, yeah? You can push full pace.
We have 15 drivers on the grid, lots of people involved, so there is a chance of another safety car. Maybe that's what he's banking on. It's going to be a little bit of damage limitation. That being said, there is a hard tyre driver behind him, so he's going to have a lap or two breathing space to work with. But then it will start to change pace-wise, so he is going to have to think about that one pretty hard. We'll be going racing on lap 9 out of 33. Still a long way to go in this Grand Prix, so everything can change. So far, Jeremy's been leading the way the entire time, controlling the pace very, very well. Lots of people now brought back into the race. Peanuts not looking like he wants to be where he is, because Terence had an issue earlier on, and he's right behind him now. The two Ferraris are brought back into it. Of course, the F1.5, everyone's brought back into it. Devon Young now finds himself on fresh tyres, and he is in this race from early on making that mistake. We are on board with Jeremy. He will be restarting the Spanish Grand Prix. Subby right behind. Will he be able to get the jump on those worn tyres, or is he not going to be able to get the traction down It's going to be very difficult, not impossible though. The safety car going into the penultimate corner at this stage, into the final corner. They're really not letting it escape too much. They're trying to pick up the pace slowly. Then they'll go for it. Very nice reaction time from himself, but not a reaction time from Subby. He's not too far away at all, but he's not going to be liking that as much. They are pushing though, the Mercedes. They are trying to put a little bit of pressure on and come back up at them. We've got the Haas looking for a move. Tom Brainer, he's actually going to get challenged by the Red Bull of Isat Oggio, who wants to give it a shot and maybe bring his teammate into it, but he's going to end up being challenged by his teammate if he's not careful.
Oh no, there's a massive crash there as we see Oggio and Tom Brainer making a bit of contact. I don't think Tom seen Oggio poke his nose in just a little bit there, and that is them both crashing out. Oggio doesn't have a front wing. Does Tom Brainer yet? They're both missing a front wing. And after the safety car restart, they've been given a second life, and they've just thrown it away now. So that's them back down at the 15th or 14th after they have to make that pit stop, and that is absolutely devastating for them.
Maybe a little bit too aggressive as soon as they got the green flag. We have got side-by-side moments here with Peanuts, who's going to go for that move and swoop around the outside. That is a perfect job done right there from him. He is on the fresh medium tyre, so he's going to have a massive grip advantage to the rest of the field. Maybe not compared to JJ, so he might have a bit of trouble trying to get past. These guys aren't slow at all, and it is a train, so that does make it difficult. We do have Becken. Yeah, Becken going for the move on Subby if he can. It is crunch time. He knows what he's got to do here.
Becken down the inside to Subby into one. Subby not having the tyre advantage anymore. 9 laps with no softs. They're definitely not going to be at their best anymore. Although he's got the run on the exit. Becken had to have a compromised line as he was overtaking the Mercedes, but it looks as though he's tidied it up nicely, and now he's going to have other McLaren of Robbo just behind, who has made a good strategical call. Once again, we know Robbo for having a good strategical mind, and the fact that he's made his way up into 4th, he's technically 1st due to all the drivers pitting, and now he's going to have to just get past these much slower drivers due to the tyre wear that they've got. And he's going to have to start off for Subby first. Coming through turn 9, you can just see the grip difference. The Mercedes have got nothing to fight with. Around the outside, Robbo's going to go a bit of wheel banging, of course, into turn 10. It looks as though Robbo's made that easily. And now he's got his teammate, which he shouldn't make it too hard. And here comes Devin Young. Devin Young is going to fling it right around the outside of Subby, coming into the last sector, and he's made the move stick. Devin Young's not letting that McLaren escape, and he needs to fight Robbo and get ahead as soon as he possibly can, so Becken can't hold him up.
Subby plummeting a little bit harder than he possibly expected. Becken putting the pressure on the old medium tyres. He's going to try and challenge sooner rather than later. Going defensive, though, is Robbo on Devin Young. Devin Young is really putting that pressure on still, regardless. They're both on the equal tyres. They are P1 and P2. Robbo trying to look for his first win in a long time. There's a bit of a gap with JJ now, so a lot of people not able to carry on. Subby already to P9. I do not believe it. I did not expect that at all.
It's a massive kick in the nuts as we see Terrence looking down the inside, and you can see there's no grip for that Mercedes. He needs to come in this or next lap. He's going to lose bucket loads of time, and I think without that pit stop that he didn't make on the safety car, he's kind of thrown his chances of a good points result away, because he obviously needs to still make a pit stop, but unless another safety car comes out very, very soon, I don't see a chance of Subby doing well in this race.
No, not at all. Oh, it's very, very, very difficult. Just further behind, that's Sen almost making a mistake. He's trying to defend and maintain those positions, but it's not easy. Devin Young goes up. Becken going to try and fight it again. They're still side by side out the final corner. They're not going to give it an inch, and it's going to allow JJ to get some pretty good momentum. But with the lead drivers, that is going to be Robbo going to go for the lead of the Grand Prix, and he's going to try and make a run for it now. This could be it. This could be it decided. Devin Young wanted to make that move immediately. He's still got a car in between though.
What Jeremy needs to do now is watch out for that Red Bull of Devin Young on the fresh hard tyres looking down the inside. I was going to say he needs to keep up in DRS, but he's got a bigger issue. He's got that Red Bull flying up the inside. An absolute rocket ship Devin Young is at the moment, and he does not want to let Robbo go. I said it before and I'll say it again. He's not giving up on this fight for the win at the moment. They might have to make another stop towards the end for soft tyres, depending on the wear. But I think either way, these guys are going to be in contention for the lead of the race until the end. It looks as though Devon does get DRS nicely within 5/10s, and they're going to try and pull away from Jeremy, who's going to make the strategy work by holding on to DRS and trying to minimise that time loss.
JJ's not making it easy for Becken. Peanuts on the fresher tyres, and with these guys fighting up ahead, is already to P6 and almost within DRS range. He is in DRS range as we speak, so when that kicks in, he's going to be in the battle immediately. So it is going to be his strategy against the others. He's still going to need to be super aggressive with it though, and they will continue as they are. JJ is going to go for the move. That is going to be Devon Young also leading the Grand Prix. Is this going to work out for him though? It will.
Yeah, it looks like Robbo managed to fight it back, and Devon Young just can't seem to get into the lead at the moment. He wants that clean air, of course, because of the tyre wear and the overheating around this track. It's been notorious in F1 in real life and in the game for the last 5-6 years, and he really needs to get ahead in order to maintain that tyre wear. If not, he might struggle later on in the race to overtake Robbo, and that might give Robbo a chance to perhaps maybe break away if the time is right.
Becken cooperating with Peanuts. He knows the tyre situation. He's just going to let it go. Damage limitation. And he doesn't want to be troubled by Monkey too much, because that will only be more difficult for him later. JJ running P4, but he's got that medium tyre who is pretty much equal to him right behind, and it's not going to be easy. He's had so much pace this race so far. Just some pretty rotten luck right now. Will he get a good run though? JJ, I know that he's pretty good at that final corner, and he's done a great job to do that. Looking pacey is still the Aston Martin, but here we go. There is also a switch for the lead.
Yeah, it looks as though Devon Young finally made that move on Robbo. It's JJ going down the inside of Jeremy. Jeremy doesn't have the tyres anymore, and the Aston Martin or Peanuts is going to be looking for a move on the Alpine of Jeremy, getting a great launch out of turn 3 and into turn 4. If he just pulls the car up nicely, it does absolutely fantastically, and that's a principled move up into P4, and now he's got JJ in front of him for a podium position.
Almost dipping a wheel in the grass, really showing that he's on the limit. Becken is going to be right there as well, so he's not going to want to wait too much. He is on slightly more advantageous tyres compared to the Alpine driver, although they're still not that fast at this Grand Prix. So yeah, Bad Monkey is going to be looking to go for it as well. Everybody's kind of settled now, I would say, more or less. Obviously there's a lot of people further behind who are on their own and hoping for another safety car, but there are lots of cars in a train. P1 and P2 are running away with it right now, but JJ and Peanuts on the fresh tyres are going to be hunting them down quickly.
It looks as though Bad Monkey made a bit of a mistake coming at the penultimate corner, but that doesn't matter because he's managed to keep the position. Robbo is going to go for a move on Devon Young, looking for her back also. You can see the other McLaren of Becken making a move on Jeremy. He's in big contact. Monkey trying to go down the inside of Jeremy, a bit optimistic, and that's him round in turn 1. It looks so he doesn't have any damage because of it, but it's a very, very optimistic move, and he didn't make it work. That's him down a lot of positions, and thankfully no one has damage from that.
What a shame, but a close call, and he's got to count his lucky stars. He's still in the race more or less. Jeremy down to P9 though, now all of a sudden losing a lot of positions on the exit of turn 5 or 6. It's a bit confusing at that stage, so he is going to have to make a pit stop. You can see he's struggling with those tyres. Lots of people very close to one another. Sen is close, but on the exit of turn 9 just not quite able to get the car in a good position to challenge. We've got Peanuts, who is in front of JJ now, 1.4 seconds. He's unleashed and he's looking to go for that move, but right now 7 lap old tyres, maybe it's a little bit too late to catch up.
I think within lap 10, that's when the tyres do start to really switch. JJ's just going to hold on to Peanuts at the moment, unless he's going to go for a move. Look at the straight line speed from JJ as we see Devon Young also making a move on Robbo. JJ backs out. It looks as though Robbo is going to go for the switch back out of turn 3 and set up a move into 4. You can just see the dirty air though. He has to back off the accelerator just a little bit. You can tell by the revs of the car. And that's Devon Young back up into P1. These two swapping around all the time. If they're not careful and one of them makes a mistake, they could collide. But these two are two great drivers, so I'm sure that won't happen. But they need to be careful for the threat behind.
Both drivers have contested championships in the last 2 seasons. Robbo against Bassoon, Devon Young against Dave Raptors. And yeah, pretty epic battles, intense battles throughout the entire way. They're now finding themselves battling each other in the first round of the Grand Prix. Close battling is always what you want, even though it's pretty difficult. It's even more fun when you do win the race, and that is an interesting one. Different driving styles, maybe? Devon Young looking to get a better exit, Robbo looking to send it on entry, and there's a bit of damage, so that's going to be looked into, I'm sure. Robbo isn't going to be happy.
Yeah, Robbo looks a bit of damage just there. I don't see damage visually, but it looks as though Robbo, even if he does have damage, doesn't seem to be affected by it at all into turn 1 again. Needs to making a slight bit of contact. Robbo losing the back end, pushing Devon Young a bit unintentionally into the AstroTurf. Devon Young's going to hold it down the inside, and this is allowing Peanuts and JJ to catch up. Into 4 we go now. Who's going to be last on the brakes? It looks as though Robbo is going to swoop around the outside. A little bit less traction on the outside as the marbles start to build up. And it looks as though Devon Young has made the move back up into P1 unless Robbo gets good traction. But no, Devon's made it back up into P1, and as you say, Robbo might have a bit of damage, is it? Or is it Devon? I didn't see it entirely.
Hard battling, which is not what they really need to be doing right now. There's still a way to go in this Grand Prix, but maybe they're trying to fight for position before they go into the pit lane. Don't think it is damage for Robbo, it's just a little bit of contact. There might be damage, but regardless, there's going to be a couple of questions. I am sure he's just going to have to make sure that he's cautious of that happening again. I'm sure it wouldn't happen again. We're on board with Devon Young. If he can go to the pit lane, he will not. No one's going to go into the pit lane at this stage. Not entirely sure of the pit window myself, but it is going to be Becken.
Yeah, Becken making the first move into the pit lane, 16 lap old hearts. He's been on them since the start of the Grand Prix, and it looks as though he's finally going to get off those absolutely horrible tyres and onto the mediums to the end. He's going to be significantly faster than everyone else on the grid, on the grid at the moment. It looks as though he's stopped for a minute. Or nope, it's a bit of lag, my apologies. It looks as though Becken's going to come out just behind Jeremy, or what's going to happen here? Coming out of the pit lane now, it's going to be very crucial for these two to see who gets in front. Jeremy on the harder but warmed up tyres, Becken on the faster but cooled down medium tyres. It looks so coming in to turn 3, you can just see the momentum swinging Jeremy's favour. It's coming into turn 4. Becken's not got that temperature in the tyre. He tries to outbrake him, but it looks as though he's outbraked himself, and that's Jeremy up into P10, and that's absolutely crucial for this battle for the higher points positions, as Becken's tyres are not up to temperature yet.
Perfect job from him. This could be for a valuable result later on. The other cars are going to have to make a pit stop at some point, of course. I doubt the hards can get to the end of the Grand Prix, but we'll see. Of course, it is all going to be down to play 4. Jeremy's going to be out. Alpha turn 9, the safety car's deployed. What the hell happened there? Looks like he's lost it. I assume maybe on his own. I don't think it'd be contact. We've seen a couple people go side by side, but it's not really the first choice. Crucially, though, the lead drivers do get out in front of the safety car.
Yeah, they get ahead in front of the safety car. That opens up the strategy a lot. I think most if not all people will go mediums to the end. I think you might see someone like JJ opt for the soft tyre. It just seems so a typical thing for JJ to do. Go more aggressive on the tyre. And we've seen Sen, he's coming out the pits on used mediums. I don't think he meant to do that. Excuse me. But with a penalty and used tyres, it looks as though Senna's chances of doing well in this race is practically over, unless he can get another stop in.
Yeah. That's interesting. He might have to sacrifice track position for tyres. It's going to be a very possible idea. To be honest, I would probably do that. But 4 laps, not the worst. There might be another safety car. Just checking if that penalty was to be served or not. It's not to be served, so he might actually stay out. Anyway, but we'll see. Robbo and Devon Young going to be looking to try and go into the pit lane soon. That is Sen having more issues, unfortunately, taking a time penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car.
The virtual safety car?
The full safety car.
You see, everyone at the top 5 coming into the pits, Robbo, of course, going soft tyres. He has to be different. He has to be that guy who does different to everyone else. He's going to pull away off the restart a couple of seconds, but will he be able to maintain that advantage? He needs to look after himself so much under the safety car. Like it's his firstborn child. He cannot drop it at any point. Well,
would not recommend you to drop a baby at any point. Lost thingy there just a moment. I do apologise. Devon Young is going to be in P2. As we saw at the beginning of the Grand Prix, of course, soft tyre runner was right behind Jeremy, who was leading on the medium tyres. That would suggest that even if you are on that faster tyre, it's so hard to make moves, of course, with dirty air. So, Robbo, being in clean air, will have good pace and he will be able to break away. So it's not that strange if you think about it, but he's trying to go to the end on this tyre. He is trying to go to the end. It's going to be difficult, but it's not going to be impossible. And with the amount of battles going on further behind, if he can break away and let the cars fight further behind, then he will actually have a chance at winning this Grand Prix. It's going to be an intense one towards the end for sure. Senna does go into the pit lane again. They will now put some 3-lap-old hard tyres on, which is not amazing, but it's the best of the situation, I think. I don't know, that's pretty annoying for them, pretty tough situation to be in, and they've got a lot of cars around them that are on faster tyres, although that being said, Terence not exactly on the best tyre either.
yeah, Terrence opting for the hard, unless he's going to come in at the end of this lap and change it again onto softs, which might actually be a smart thing to do. He might lose a position or two, I think. He'll be fine otherwise, but unless he thinks he's got nothing to lose, being P11 on the hard tyre, he's actually going to stay out. So he thinks these hard tyres might actually work towards the end of the race. However, I don't know if you were there, Aaron, when I was talking to Niffle. However, we said that the mediums and the hards actually don't have much tyre time interval between each other. So do you think Aaron understands that and knows what he's doing, or do you think this is just a bit of a wild strategy call from him?
He might do. He definitely might do. It might also be that he's only got that tyre available because he's had to make a couple of pit stops, I believe, with the issues that he's had. So it might be that that's the situation, but we don't know. Oggio realises he's far behind on the grid, so he's going to go into the pit lane and put a fresh set of soft tyres on to the end. That is not a bad idea. That is not a bad idea at all. Don't know if anybody else would have thought about that. I assume we'll probably get to racing at the end of this lap, so lap 22 we will go. So is that, what, 12 laps of racing? No?
I'd say so, yeah.
11. 12 laps of racing. 12 laps of racing, so it's not going to be the best on the tyres towards the end, but it's definitely going to be possible and a little bit more possible than Robbo's situation. But we will go green flag at the end of this lap. It will be Robbo leading the way for a first time in a while, looking to try and get that win. Devon Young trying to continue his winning ways after a short break from F1.5, and Peanuts also trying to get some more wins on the board that they have had so far last season. JJ looking for his first if he can, warming up those tyres, really backing up the field. And when's he going to go for it? When is he going to go for it? The safety car's in now. He can go for it at any point at this stage. And he's still not going for it. He's really letting everybody wait and bunch up. Is he going to try and position the car in a straight line and then dart it? He doesn't. He's building the pace still. He's still building the pace. I'm going to feel travel sick if you keep doing that. He is going to go for it eventually. Everybody's so close further behind. That's going to be the Ferrari getting a good launch compared to the Aston Martin. The AlphaTauri is going to be challenging Becken, but Becken's going to try and get back through. That is going to be the Aston Martin just about holding on ahead of the Ferrari. So brilliant job from Peanuts, and Monk's going to try and get involved in that one. Maybe not. Never mind. That is going to be Becken having a go at Monkey though.
Yeah, Monkey compromised off the turn 2, and it looks as though Beckham making that move already. That McLaren showed good pace already this weekend, and it looks as though he's going to be fighting for that podium position if he keeps this up. He's got Monk in front of him, who struggled to VRS earlier on in the race, and it looks as though obviously he's got it back now, but will he learn from his mistakes earlier on, and will he manage the ERS much better? Considering there's only 11 laps to go, he needs to be careful. JJ just in front of him with Peanuts already dropping back from the front two.
Absolutely mental racing further behind as well. That was Oggio and Terence so close side by side. Going over the curb was Terence getting the bad run and almost allowing Tom Brainer to get through, but he'll just about live to fight another day. Starting the first lap of green flag racing is Robbo, so he maintains that, but only by 5/10. I kind of expected a little bit more from the red wall tyre. Peanuts P3, they have lost a lot. It's still not over. Monk is behind. He wants to try and get in front of JJ, but he is very, very quick in a straight line.
Yeah, JJ always opting for a lower downforce setup, and it looks as though at the moment it's helping him. He's managing to maintain good speed around the corners. Looks as though Monk might be challenging for a move into turn 4, but doesn't seem to have a big enough balls to send it down the inside. JJ slamming the doors shut. He's just taking the normal racing line really, but he's going to be looking for that podium position. Peanuts, we thought he might have had amazing pace like he did last season, but it looks as though JJ is the one actually who has quite good pace at the moment. One of the fastest cars on track from the data I can see here, and it looks as though he might be pressurising that Aston Martin sooner rather than later.
Pressurising as well, Robbo and Devon Young. Devon Young isn't far away at all, very, very close at the end of the straight into turn 10. Of course, he did get a nice tow, but it does show that he's really turning up the volume, picking up the pace, and controlling this race, even though he's not in the lead of the Grand Prix. DRS, I believe, will be available at the next lap. They'll get it on the straight. Devon Young going into the lead.
Around the outside of Robbo into one, a bit of contact made by these guys once again, but it's hard racing at its finest, and it looks as though Devon Young has made that move up into P1, and surely now he can't lose it. Those soft tyres from about lap 5 or 6, which is a 2 laps time, will start to go off drastically, and rather than Robbo attacking Devon, it's going to look like Peanuts could be in a shout of P2, and JJ could be in a shout of a podium for Ferrari for the first time, and I'm sure quite a while.
Maybe not expecting to opt for the soft tyres before the race, not setting up the car for a set of soft tyres, maybe getting some overheating going on. You'd expect that wouldn't happen with overcast conditions or light cloud conditions, but it does seem to be happening. And yeah, it's not working as well as he possibly thought. Jeremy, no, not Jeremy, Peanuts and Sebi just doing a phenomenal job at the beginning of this race. He's just not quite able to replicate that. All of these cars very, very close together. We've got Oggio, who's super close to the car in front, looking to see if he can go for it. We will have a look at the race leaders though, because they are going to switch yet again. I do not believe it. They're still fighting each other, and Peanuts is only going to get closer.
Yeah, Peanuts is benefiting massively from this. Robbo takes lead once again. He knows that his tyres eventually are going to drop off the pace, so he wants to keep that track position, but he needs to save battery as well. You can just see the grip advantage that Robbo still does have, but he can't seem to use it to his advantage. He's using it to defend more than he has to pull away, which is really unfortunate for the McLaren driver, as he needs to use that pace to push away from Devon rather than hold him off, because if he keeps on doing that, Devon's going to find an avenue past once the tyres do start to go off.
It's only a matter of time, and it will be the last few laps. I'm sure it will start to happen. And Peanuts, although is close, I think he needs to get a lot closer if he wants to try and follow Devon through when he overtakes Robbo and go for the win. If he doesn't get close enough, then he's just going to have a car in between. Robbo's got nothing to lose and everything to gain by defending, so it's not going to be an easy pass. It's not going to be like they're working together at this stage of the race, so he really needs to get close and try and follow the Red Bull through. The Red Bull is going to go for a move again. They pull to the inside line. They're going to get the move done even before the braking zone.
Yeah, it looks as though Beckon's also going for a move on the Williams and Monk into turn one. Monk defends it well, and it looks as though his battery light is flashing. I told you. What did I say? Monk struggles to maintain ERS throughout an elongated amount of time without any safety cars, and it looks as though, yet again, this is going to catch him out. He was the top 5, and now Beckon has made that overtake, and now he's going to be challenging JJ and Peanuts, which is exactly what Robbo needs. He can't afford any more pressure from behind. He needs to look forward towards Devin Young, and if his teammate can help him do that, then I'm sure they can make his life a lot easier.
A lot easier is Oggio on that soft tyre. It's still pretty difficult to get the job done. Will he have a go in the braking zone at the end of this turn? DRS available for him, but not available for the car in front. He's not going to dummy it to the inside. Will he get it on the traction? He's not going to be doing that. He actually backed off and let it go. He's only losing time to the cars in front, who are now on their own little train ride. So yeah, Oggio being a little bit tentative on these tyres, and they're only going to get older.
Yeah, Oggio and Robbo in the same situation here, as they see Oggio going for a move on Matt Merckx into turn one, not even into turn one. He's got so much pace, and speaking of, oh my goodness, look at the Mercedes of Subby reaching 210 mile an hour as he reaches turn one. He makes the move on Oggio, but he can't seem to make it stick for now. But that closing speed was absolutely incredible by the Mercedes, and now Matt Merckx is going to put him under pressure coming into turn 4. Subby defending a little bit to the inside, pushing him a little bit towards the grass, and it looks as though Matt Merckx is having none of it. A little bit of a pushback from the AlphaTauri, and it looks as though into turn 5 a bit more contact is made. Will Subby managed to get the move done? A bit more contact once again, these guys getting a bit aggressive. Matt Merckx is not going to let that position go easily, but eventually it has to relinquish it to the Mercedes to Subby.
Might try and get him back on the DRS, but if that Mercedes is so fast in the straight line, or they're using a lot of energy to get that job done, they might have a go, but I don't know. Yeah, Subby trying to get through. It was a bit aggressive. I think both drivers were trying to push the limits. It's done now. We just have to carry on as we are. The train up in front is very close still. This time Robbo might have a go at going for the lead again, and he will try and push through. So he, like I said, has nothing to lose. He's only going to stir up the competition and maybe get himself a chance to still win this Grand Prix. Devin Young, though, still so quick, and he's going to try and have another goal, but they're both going to be into the wall. He tried to look to the inside line. It's 2016, and that is going to be both cars out. Peanuts is going to lead. There's not going to be a safety car. JJ's in P2 and in hot pursuit of P1.
I told you, if these guys keep on battling it hard, I said they're good drivers, but they're going to end up making a mistake at some point if they keep on being so aggressive. And that just allows everyone to just get up in positions. Peanuts in P1, JJ in P2. He could win his first ever race in LSI, I believe. Is that correct? I'm sure it is. Correct. So if he can keep holding this at the moment as Subby gets a penalty, he looks as though he could win. Peanuts, of course, has got a bit less battery than the Ferrari. JJ has a lot of experience in this type of racecraft. He's having to just be careful, be patient behind the car ahead of him, and he needs to strike when the time's right. He knows that it's not right now. He's going to follow the slipstream, put a bit of pressure on, and if he can get the movement in turn one, that's a bonus, but no, he's going to lift off and just let the Peanuts go for now.
Has no one to defend from, so he is good to go. Becken is behind. You've got to be considering the fact that Becken and Peanuts are friends, so it's not going to be so straightforward. So if they do fight and bring the other cars in, he knows who's going to be getting preferential treatment. But yeah, they're looking in a good position. They've just got to make sure that they strike at the right time, as you said, and I'm sure they will be able to find that. Still, if they do make mistakes, there are cars very close behind. Oggio is the next furthest car behind, who has a big gap. They are on those old tyres, so they are going to start to drop off, but I think they've got a big enough gap for Subby, and Subby having that time penalty. Oggio all of a sudden recovering all these points. So he's done a very good job to make that work. Tom Brainerd, so close. He's going to follow in get in front of one of the Astons. He wanted to try and challenge the AlphaTauri, but wasn't going to be greedy. Lets him go for now and might try and challenge in a bit. Their P9 going to get 2 points on the board, but Terence will come back with those time penalties, and he might even get Subby as well.
With those hard tyres, now Terence is going to show his true pace. Can he make the move on the Haas into turn 1. It doesn't look like he's going to be pushing for it at the moment. He's going to wait for things to unfold. He sees what happens with Devin Young and Robbo up front. He knows that anything can happen within these last few laps, and he doesn't want to take any chances. Matt Merckx making a mistake, twitches not once but twice. That allows Tom Brayner to really catch up to him. You can see the flashing lights on the rear of the car, and that signifies that they've got less than 10%. So Terence and Tom Brayner need to look at that and think this is their chance to really now go for a move.
They can, but that being said, Terence, if he doesn't make the move on Tom Brayner and Matt Marks, he still does gain 2 positions. He would still finish in P8, so it is either P8 or P7. Currently Matt Marks is looking for that P7 if he stays as he is. Lap 30 out of 33, not long to go in this Grand Prix. Basically a sprint, a lot shorter than a sprint in reality, and yeah, they've got to make sure that they strike at the right time, but everybody's going to push. It's like a marathon race. You all sit there and wait for the right moment. Who pulls the pin first? Pulling the pin is JJ already. Goes for the move on lap 31. Is that the right call?
I've got a theory that JJ knows what Beckham wants. Beckham is not going to stand for anything other than a race win. He's been flying this whole weekend. He's been one of the faster cars on track, and he knows he has the pace to win this race. He still needs to get past Peanuts, and rather than JJ being the one having to worry about the McLaren, that's going to be Peanuts now being paranoid about that McLaren making a move. So JJ, although he's giving DRS to Peanuts, he's also having a big brain moment here and deciding he doesn't want to battle, he wants to pull away, and it looks as though the pace isn't too bad thus far.
There's 2 ways this can go, of course. He could lose out, he could gain it. The 2 Swedish drivers might have a bit of politics in their friendship. Who's going to stay in front? JJ makes a mistake. He's only going to bring the cars behind closer together, and only going to bring them closer to him as well. They'll get DRS. They might be able to follow each other. So actually, it might not work out. Like I said, 2 ways this can go. He could make it work. He's very good at that final corner, but I don't think it's going to matter with DRS, and he could get double overtaken if he's not careful. Using the ERS and getting the pace at the end of the straight is Becken, and he's going to send it to the inside line. He will have the advantage. The Ferrari's still there. They go side by side up turn 3, and Peanuts is getting an opportunity to break away. This could be it. JJ goes wide, goes off the circuit very slightly. Monk's going to be involved, and this might be all over. He's still looking at a good result on a podium, but Peanuts has just got a lucky break. This might be it done.
JJ using a lot of his ERS, he had an advantage over these guys. I don't know why he didn't just push after Peanuts was alongside him, because he could have been P2 coming onto that last lap. And you know, Aaron, how vital that is to be that second place car going onto the last lap, especially around Spain with that very long DRS straight. And I think they're just giving Peanuts the win now.
Yeah, both of them ending up giving that away. They would have had one more opportunity to try and be close together and all fight for that position, but in the end it's going to stay as it is. Becken isn't going to be too happy with that one, although it is his friend in front, so you can't be too disappointed. JJ going off the circuit but avoiding a time penalty. Will he have the ERS advantage to come back? Peanuts doesn't, but both the McLaren and the Ferrari do. JJ for now will secure that podium on the straight ahead of Monk, but it's still not going to be straightforward, and I think he's going to be a bit gridlocked at this stage in the race. We've got Matt Marks, who is going to challenge the Mercedes to the outside. He knows that he's got Tom Brayner, and well, actually, no, he hasn't got Terence, who must have made mistakes and does lose out, so he's not going to be making that position. Matt Marks doesn't actually need to make this move, but he's going to just try and secure it for preservation purposes. I've completely lost my words right there. Peanuts continues to lead the way. Becken closer than ever. He's got a bit of ERS but not much at all. DRS available. He's going to get a big toe. He'd have to send it so hard on the brakes. It's not going to be possible. JJ holds in front of the Williams. We do have not really one more opportunity for Beckham. He's going to give it everything, but it's not going to be enough. Around the final few corners, Peanuts is going to start the championship with a win to his name. Peanuts wins the Spanish Grand Prix. Beckham in P2 and JJ taking a podium to open up. That's absolutely perfect. We've got Matt Max, who does lose out to Tom Brainer. Tom Brainer trying to have a go on Subby. He will not get the run, but they stay as they are. It's going to be Matt Max P7 in the end. What a recovery, by the way, from Oggio. Phenomenal job from him.
Yeah, I mean, that was some race. We had ups and downs throughout the entire grid, and the people who you expect to win the race are P12 and 13 across the line.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is a shame. They will score no points. They would have definitely been fighting for fastest lap, of course, but yeah, it is a shame. Did Robbo have more time penalties than Devon Young, or did Robbo just score 1 point?
He just got a penalty of the last corner.
That is very, very tough. What a frustration for him right there. We've got Peanuts taking the win. Beckham in P2, JJ P3, Monk, Bad Monkey, Oggio, Matt Marks, Subby, Tom Brainer and Terence finishing off the top 10. We've got Devon Young, Sen, Robbo, Cookie Monster disconnecting so he won't be classified. We also have Jeremy, Dilly and Jack Haley DNFing earlier on in the Grand Prix. We'll make sure we get all the results as usual, and then we'll go through the race director once we can. There we go for the race director just in case to double check everything as you usually do. You need the data, otherwise you're going to screw yourself over if you don't get it down. And then we'll be back for the post-race interviews. We'll see you in a bit. Hello everyone, welcome back to the post-race interviews of the Spanish Grand Prix. That was a pretty crazy one. We start the interviews with Robbo. Robbo, it was looking like a strong start to the season. Wasn't at the end, it's not what you wanted. I just want to say, well done for the effort. It was good to see you back at the front, and it looks like it could be a pretty good championship fight. Can you take us through that race?
Yeah, okay. So we started P10, and then the first lap was pretty amazing for me. I think we got up to P3 and then dropped 2 positions to the soft runners. I just thought I'd let them pass. They were obviously much faster. And it went well. Safety car came out at the perfect time for me, and I capitalised on that quite well by diving into the pits as soon as it went out. So yeah, it was going well, and then I decided to pit on the safety car as well. Going to softs maybe wasn't the right choice. Yeah, probably wasn't, but we moved. Zingy shut up, and yeah, what happened. I don't really think there's much point talking much about it. We'll see what this happens with the stewards. And yeah, but it's looking good for the rest of the season.
Yeah, well said. Thank you very much, Robbo. It was a great effort, and thank you for the battling. It's not the way you wanted to end it, but yes, thank you very much. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Hamilton, Rosberg, 2016.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Great effort today. We move on to Devon Young, who was on the other end of the incident, taking away the incident. Are you happy with the race regarding fighting at the front?
Yeah, I think like before it was going quite well. Obviously lap 1 didn't go great. Like, I'm not really sure what happened, to be honest. I've watched that back, but ended up at the back and then sort of tried to, catch up to everyone, and then the safety car came out, so I pitted under that, which was nice. And then yeah, obviously sat at the front there on the hards, and the next safety car came out. Then yeah, I decided to go on the mediums, which I think was the right call, because there was just, obviously the softs die here. Mm-hmm. And then yeah, and then obviously Robbo was on the softs, which is the wrong call. And then as soon as he starts sort of losing time, the incident happened. So I don't know if he just knew he was going to lose the position and decided wanted to do something stupid, but I don't know. He did what he did, and we move on to the next round. But yeah, like you said, should be a good battle. And other than that, it was a fun race and looked like it was going to be a good result, but unfortunately didn't pan out that way.
Yeah, it's not the way you want to start the season, but thank you very much for the great battles. We enjoyed it to begin with, at least. So yeah, looking forward to next race. One last question: how would you describe your race in 3 words?
Exciting race throughout.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Great effort today. And we move on to Oggio. Oggio, that was a tough race. P6, are you happy with that?
No, not really. Could have been a lot better.
But recovery-wise, are you happy?
Yeah, I guess made up a lot of positions after the last safety car.
Yeah. Can you explain what went wrong, just so we can get a recap of that?
Yeah, so start on mediums, which was the right call, because I predicted our safety car coming out early, because so many new people were racing and people had felt each other out. So, and then on the restart, I was so much quicker than Tom Robb. Can't really get the move in going around the outside of turn 2, so I put my nose on the inside of him going out of turn 3, but he just keeps turning right when it's a straight, so we crashed, and luckily I didn't die this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very similar incident to yesterday, so it's a shame, but you still managed to recover, so well done on the points, and that's not what you wanted. One last question: how would you describe your race in 3 words?
And look at your sides.
Thank you very
The Model
much.
3 car.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Great effort today. And we move on to Peanuts, who is the race winner of the first round. Peanuts, that was a crazy one. Did you expect to get the result you did today?
I mean, the thing is, I was not the one with the quickest pace. I say that every time I win, but it's true. I'm just lucky for the most part. But what I need to learn is re-pushing, because I like every restart. I just feel like I'm not aggressive. I'm not quick in the beginning. It takes me a few laps to warm up, and that's why I typically lose DRS. The cars in front, and I just have to fight my way up. But it was a good race. I should probably not say this, but I'm sorry to Oggio for yesterday. I really felt bad because I felt like it was just stupid. I was being retarded.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You got the public apology, and I respect that completely. But yeah, it's good to see that you know what the problem is. You can be constructive and work on it. So that's exactly what you need to be a potential champion. So thank you very much, Peanuts. One last question: how are you going to describe your race in 3 words?
1, 2, me, Linus, or Beckett.
Thank you
Very nice.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. Great effort. And we move on to a disconnection moment. I do apologise. I hope the stream hasn't disconnected. We're good to go, I believe. We move on to Subby. Subby, that was brilliant pace at the beginning, but it just didn't go to plan at the end.
Yeah, that safety car really destroyed me. I was, just safety car came out as soon as, I crossed the pit entry. Besides that, people just kept dive bombing me, and I got tapped into turn 1, hurt me even more, and then I just had to bite the bullet and pit with everybody behind, and then I just couldn't get the pace up in time, and the second safety car fucked me even more because I was still behind. But we live and we learn. Next race should be better. So.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah. Did you not consider pitting at all? Did you not think it was the right call? Initially, I mean.
Yeah, it was just, it would have probably, I didn't want to deal with the traffic, because it would have been bad either way.
Fair enough.
I probably should have, but again, we live and we learn.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you can't turn back time, so it's absolutely fine, but you can learn from it, so I hope it goes well for you in Imola. It's great to see you back and racing at the front compared to last time, so yeah, super happy for the starts of the season, pace-wise at the beginning, of course. So thank you very much, Subby. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Luck like Charles.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Great effort today.
Alright, thank you.
And we move on to Terence. Terence, good start to the race. It was a little bit of a struggle later on, and unfortunately missing out on the time penalties ahead. Still a championship point, but can you take us through that one?
Yeah, because I didn't race for about a month, so I have to train for 2 or 3 days to pick up back the feeling. And because I thought I'm in the Ferrari, so I trained with the Ferrari.
Ah, yes. Sorry about that.
But yeah, the road pace is improved. I can see in the qualify. So just try to minimize the mistakes I got, because I got very many mistakes on my photo. Yeah, I try to recover it next race.
Yeah, fair enough. Well said, and I can't wait for that. You know you have the pace. You know you've got it all in you because you're a race winner. So I hope it goes well for you. And Imola, one last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Looking forward to.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. Great effort. We move on to Tom Brainer. Tom Brainer, that was a tough race. You were in a pretty close battle late on. I assume you're going to not be happy with that one because of all the issues you had, but you still happy with points to take away?
Yeah, especially after the problems I've got at the race start. Get pushed off the track, then got spun around in the last sector. So I just was at the last from the beginning. Hoped for safety cars, I've got them. Got closer, I think I showed my pace, and then the incident with Oggio. We were coming out of a corner, and I thought that I was opening my steering at the right moment, and then just got hit in the back on the rear wheel. Need to see the incident again, if it was my fault or not. And then it was just unlucky. And at the end, yeah, it was a close fight. Didn't know how much I could push, especially going against Terence, because his internet was a bit shaky sometime. So I lifted a bit and hoped that I could at least get Subby at the end. Was very close. Haven't got him. It is still a point, but I'm not very happy with it.
Yep, fair enough. You did what you could to sacrifice it to start the season, but I hope Imola goes well for you there. We know you've got the pace. The win is only a matter of time. You can do it, Tom. Just hold in there. Thank you very much today. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Finala.
Fair enough. I guess that's all you need. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Great effort today. And that has been it. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. It's been a pleasure. We will see you next weekend for the Imola Grand Prix with a sprint race to make it even more spicy. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see you there and watch again. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.